Hello everyone, I'm the Anti-Fangirl Reviewer. I let you know what anime to watch and what anime to watch out for. Anime openings! They are those 90-minute bits of animation and catchy music that draw us in, that get us excited to watch the show. And usually what we think is, oh wow, look at that kick-ass opening. I bet the show is just as good. Sadly, that's not always the case. Sometimes the anime doesn't really give us what the opening promises, or at least to me. This is my personal top 10 anime openings that are better than the actual show. Number 10, Tobe Gundam by Ko Ikeda from Mobile Suit Gundam. As I said in my review of this show, it near put me to sleep more than once. But every time I watched an episode, I watched this bit of old school awesomeness. The simple visuals match the lyrics, and the song makes this something special. These lyrics were written by creator Yoshiyuki Tomino. The song is about the Gundam itself, how it burns with rage and has great fighting spirit and will attack the enemies. It almost sounds like a wartime propaganda song, but I think maybe that's what Tomino was going for. These are also really catchy lyrics. I barely speak Japanese, and I can sing along with this song very easily. And I do, every time I hear it. Number 9, Sakura Saku by Megumi Hayashibara from Love Hina. Love Hina was also pretty boring. The humor is repetitive and stale, and the cast is the same stock characters you see in so many other series. This opening, however, is just so cute. I usually hate cute for the sake of cute, and I think moe is annoying, but this is downright endearing. I think 80% of the reason has to be credited to the singer herself, who's very famous both in Japan and stateside. I mean, the lyrics are very standard J-pop stuff. They talk about not giving up, finding love, saying goodbye to the past, etc. But she just sounds so sweet and charming. The visuals are also full of syrupy cuteness. If this opening doesn't bring a lift to your day, then you might be depressed enough to need to see a therapist. Number 8, You Raise Me Up by Inori from Romeo x Juliet. Now, Romeo x Juliet isn't a bad series, but it is one of those things that I put in the category of being just okay, since it left no greater impression at all. But this opening is pretty cool, since it gives the viewer the impression that they're about to watch this really epic love story. The imagery of Romeo and Juliet reaching for each other across the destruction of everything around them is one that will stay with you. And yeah, the flower petals are excessive, but it only adds to the sweeping, grand melody feel of the song. The music is noteworthy for the way that it swells at the end and the impassioned way that Inori sings. Now here's an interesting thing about this song. It's a Japanese cover of an American pop song. Is it a good cover? No, not really, since the lyrics are pretty different from version to version. But as a song by itself, it's really quite beautiful. And so is this opening. Number 7, Boken Desho Desho by Aya Hirano from The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. There are things that I really like about Haruhi, but there are many things about it that really annoy me. One of the things that I like very much is the music. Yes, most of the songs are pretty irritating, but they're still so appealing and addictive. It's very hard to explain the enjoyment factor. That strange power is present here. The visuals are as lovely, vibrant, fluid, and sweet as the song. This opening, and this show in general, is pure undiluted otaku fan service, which is why I think this series has become as iconic and popular as it has. And this is the perfect introduction to the party and the celebration of all things Japanese geeky that so many people around the world truly love. Number 6, Colors by Flo from Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion. To explain why I don't like this series would take a video by itself, but to give one reason of many, I really hate Suzaku, like want to burn with matches. Hate. But anyway, this opening. If you look at the lyrics, they actually narrate the images. The visuals are also interesting for their transitions and what they convey about the story and the characters. I love the switch from Suzaku standing with the army leaders and then it going to the picture of him with his friends. There's also the shot of Jupiter at the end because of, you know, how Jupiter in mythology overthrew his father. You get it? The reason why this isn't higher on my list is because I think the opening is a little too similar to a very well-known opening that you will see on this list later. But I think it's more of an homage than a ripoff, and this opening is very good in its own right. Number 5, Lilium by Kumiko no Ma from Elfen Lied. The reason I don't count myself a fan of this anime is because it has no lighter side, it's about as subtle as an axe, there are too many extraneous characters, and it tries to pass off very stupid choices as pathos. But this song is very stunning. Latin scripture is used as lyrics which are delivered in an operatic style to make for a hauntingly beautiful and unforgettable song. The visuals reference Gustav Klimt pretty heavily and absolutely brilliantly, except for the showing of breasts. I know they were going for artistic, but it does feel a little too fan servicey and out of place for me. But other than that hiccup, this opening serves as a much needed breather from the graphic nature of this series. Number 4, Pura Predo by Rei Kugimiya, Eri Kitamura, and Yui Hore from Toradora. Again, Toradora is one of those shows that I think of being meh overall. It's a rather standard school days anime, and this opening gets you pumped to watch it. Seriously, any opening theme that can make a romantic comedy exciting deserves a respectable place on any top 10 list. I'm in love with this opening for its use of color and all that hyperactive energy. It's almost too much to the point that it should be annoying, but they just barely stay away from that line. Plus, you have to give it props since they also successfully establish every important character on the show. It's catchy, it's addicting, and it's a little too much. Number 3, Asterisk by Orange Range from Bleach. I don't like any show that's too stuck in its genre, and Bleach is a very standard shonen show. Most shonen openings try to get you really pumped to watch it, yeah! But this little opening takes a slightly different route. First of all, there's the song itself. I think Orange Range should get a big gold star for successfully blending alternative rock and rap together. The lyrics are mostly very upbeat, but the music has a thoughtful, almost solemn tone to it. The visuals don't have the multi-layered quality that the song does, but the characters get to be dressed in some very fashionable outfits. We're truly shown that we're about to enter a hip, cool urban fantasy. Number 2, Zankoku ne Teishi no Teize by Yoko Takahashi from Neon Genesis Evangelion. While I'm certainly not a hater of Eva, I do fit myself comfortably in the camp that thinks that this series has major problems. But it's very hard not to love this opening. This song is upbeat and jazzy and builds up emotion. It's almost inspirational with lyrics that proclaim a boy will embrace his destiny, take flight, and become legend. Now, how much that really fits Shinji's character is a whole other matter, but whatever, this song is awesome. The imagery, like the anime itself, has become iconic since it inspired many directors to really make their openings memorable by presenting their stories and characters in new and artistically interesting ways. Number 1, Tank by the Seatbelts from Cowboy Bebop. Did you really expect anything else? Now, before I get a brick thrown at me by somebody who's not one of my subscribers, I will admit I'm not a fan of Cowboy Bebop on the whole. Its style is probably the best of any anime that has been made, but its substance lacks in a few ways for me. This, however, is awesome. It kicks ass in so many ways. This opening could probably define coolness all by itself. Most of that awesomeness can be credited to Yoko Kanno, who wrote the music for the series. Now, I, unlike every other anime reviewer who loves to talk her up at every opportunity, don't consider myself a fan of all of her work, since I thought Darker Than Black's score was kind of underwhelming. But this is her best work, for sure, and she deserves all the praise she gets for her efforts on this series. I don't need to dress this theme song up in any purple prose because it more than speaks for itself. So, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, and see you, Space Cowboy.